We meet again. Hey guys, what is up? I am back. I'm back to YouTube. If you've been paying attention at all, I have been gone from the internet for a couple of months now. I think the last video I uploaded, depending on when this one goes up, will be about 2 months ago. I wanted to do a sort of sit down, talk about what's going on, because I've had a lot of people in the past talk about how they enjoy that I'm really open with my mental health, that I'm able to kind of work through it. And honestly, that hasn't been the case for the last few months. It really hasn't been the case for the last 6 months. If you go back on the videos that I've uploaded over the last 6 months, you'll see that there is a little bit of that spark missing. And that is because, like most people in this day and age, I am very depressed and I'm making the best of it. I'm one of those people where if I have a good day, I really lean into that good day, but I've been having a lot more bad days than good recently. And a couple months ago, I got some really bad news about my dad, and that's an ongoing situation. And I think that coupled with everything else that was happening, it was just too much for me, and I really needed to step back because I couldn't focus on anything. And I think that I was using the internet, using YouTube, using Instagram, using Twitter, like using all of those as a way to sort of distract myself, which has been, unfortunately, my coping mechanism for a very long time. So I wanted to kind of get rid of those things in my life for one reason or another. I'll kind of go over sort of why I left Twitter, why I left Instagram, those kinds of things. But when that happened, like I said, I wanted to be more present, and I'm the type of person where, like I said, for me, I push things out of my mind. I don't focus on them. And I really wanted to be in the moment. And with treatment, with a couple of the disorders that I have, one of the things that they really, in most mental illnesses, want you to focus on is mindfulness and being present in the moment. And that's really hard for me when I have this escape of the internet or YouTube or whatever. And also coupled with, I felt like what I was creating wasn't really being seen by my audience. I felt like because mentally by myself I was disconnected, it was really hard to connect with you guys and really hard for people to connect to what I was putting out. And I missed you and I wanted to be here. I thought about it all the time, but also on my bad days, I was glad that I didn't have to necessarily perform. Not that I think that any of us really have to perform on our YouTube channels, but I just feel like there is a level, like even now, like filming this, I feel like I need to put on a good front, and like I put on makeup and like actually got dressed and did my hair, and it's like, it's kind of, I think, like a self-imposed requirement. So it was nice on my bad days to be able to just watch the same YouTube videos that I've been watching, like the same playlists that I really enjoy that calm me down, or to reach out to a friend or to hang out with people. And no one had to see that. And sometimes I think that is what, for me, and I think for a lot of people, what we just need is like time to completely disconnect. So that is part of the reason why I haven't been here, just really battling with my depression. Another thing that I've been really dealing with is my OCD. And I've talked about my OCD before. This is something that I've had my entire life. I didn't really realize until the last 6 months just how bad it had controlled most of my life, a lot of my actions. I'm a very anxious person, which OCD used to be considered an anxiety disorder. It isn't anymore, but it does bring on, like, one of the symptoms of it, or one of the reactions to having it, is intense anxiety. So it is separate from an anxiety disorder, but one of the symptoms is anxiety. So for me, I was feeling crazy amounts of anxiety for the last 6 months, talking with a therapist, figuring some things out. And this is something that I have apparently had my entire life. I remember being very young and having my first symptom of one of the OCD types that I have, and not really knowing what was going on and being very afraid, and talking to my birth mom at the time and not really getting treatment for it. And it sort of went away. And then when I was 25, I had the same kind of OCD symptoms that I am having over the last 6 months. And I kind of got over that because it was taken over by another form of OCD. So the type of OCD that I have is just called pure OCD. It is an umbrella term because it encompasses a lot of different ones. There are tons. I'm really not going to go into them right now. I'm definitely not going to go into the more triggering forms of my OCD that I have. But the one that I've been really dealing with is morality OCD. And it's also called like scrupulosity OCD. Basically, it just means it's most commonly linked to religious OCD, which is where you feel like you're not praying enough, or that God doesn't love you enough, or this thought that you had is like blasphemous and you're gonna go to hell, and it's very confusing. But the form that I have of that version is basically, am I a good person? And the internet really kind of brought that on for me, and that's why I haven't been active. It is the biggest reason as to why I haven't been on Twitter. Twitter is the worst for my OCD. I attempt to get on there. This is the first full week that I've actually been active on Twitter and like talking to people and just kind of seeing what's happening as part of my treatment. Like, you have to dive feet first into that. But the reason why it was such a big spike for me is there's a lot of conversation around the type of person you are and are you doing enough and you should be doing more. And there's so many people on the internet who say like, you should be focusing on this and this is important, or you should be focusing on this and this is important. And I started, and I think I even said that this was going to happen. I know I said it to G, but I think I like publicly was like, this is going to ruin me. Like, being so active when the Black Lives Matter movement first started and trying to really focus on ways that I can improve, which are valiant and they are things that everyone should be doing. But I think I just got to a point where my mental health was like, okay, bitch, like, you need to stop for a minute because you're in this rumination. Because OCD, the big symptom of it is that you get a thought stuck in your head and you cannot get that thought out. And with traditional OCD, you have what are called tics, where maybe you arrange things, maybe you check to make sure your door is locked. And I do have some of those symptoms, but most of my rumination with pure OCD is mental rumination. So a lot of the time I will replay things that have happened in the past, and no one has a perfect past. I was a fucking idiot when I was younger. So I replay, things that me now wouldn't do, but I would sit there and think about, what does that say about me as a person? Clearly I'm an awful person, and you make mistakes and you grow and you change and you become a good person. But as somebody who's had mental illness their entire life, I've made, I think, on average, more mistakes than a normal person may have. So I was just thinking about that, and everyone's like, you have to be present, you can't be silent, you can't do any of that. And I remember talking to my therapist and being like, I have a social media presence, I'm online, I can use my voice. And she's like, sometimes you can't, like, you just have to step back, because in the long term, you're not going to be doing anyone a service if you are just throwing yourself out there. Like, one, your heart's not going to be in it because you mentally cannot handle it, and you are just kind of regurgitating and seeing kind of like what other people are saying. And in the long term, if you are doing it like piece by piece with the capability that you have and the mental energy that you have, it will be so much better, because you will feel very passionately about the things that you were talking about. And the longer I was trying to be involved, the more I just kind of became numb to everything, and that wasn't the way that I wanted to live, because I've been doing so much like soul searching, like, let's be all like guru about it, but I've been doing a lot of soul searching over the last 6 months of kind of like about what I want to do with my life, what makes me happy, and I've really narrowed it down to a few things. So I am glad to be back. I'm still kind of working through my OCD. Therapy is really expensive, and you know what? I got a 401k and health insurance this year. So I feel very much so like an adult. I feel like I'm doing things to take care of myself. I'm finally doing things to prepare for my future. And that's very weird, because I have never really focused on me. Like, I've never really, and it stems from not feeling good enough or not feeling like I deserve it. Like, I come from a very abusive childhood. I come from a very abusive, past relationships. And so for me, it was like, I don't know how to like really put into myself, really like love and care about myself. And that's what I've been doing. So I've been working out, I've been lifting. I feel very strong, and I have not like built any muscle or anything, but I feel very strong, and it's nice. And I'm like sleeping better, and work is going really well, and life is kind of shit. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like I said, I still have bad days, but I'm really, even on those bad days, taking care of myself and realizing that first and foremost, like, I need to be okay, and I need to be the one to take care of myself and to put, I have people in my life that will do it. I have a loving boyfriend. I have really amazing friends, really good family, but like, I need to do that, because at the end of the day, I'm the only person who's really 100% there for me 100% of the time. Like, I can't escape myself. Believe me, I know. I've tried desperately to escape myself over the last 6 months. My camera cut off. I don't know where it cut off at, but anyway, like I said, I have some life updates. So this background is going to be changing because we are moving, and I'm really, really excited. So basically, we lease from an apartment now currently. I moved in here in January. Really, I moved in here last April when COVID hit. I basically have been here that entire time, but my lease was up in January. I moved in with Rocco officially then. All my stuff is in storage downstairs in our apartment complex, so I haven't had access to most of my things since that time. I do have, you know, like some things that I built up over the last couple of months though. So anyway, we lease from the same people basically in our new apartment. So we are moving in a little bit early. I was really shocked about that and really excited because we are actually moving into our dream apartment. I am so excited, you guys. This is the apartment that I have wanted to live in since they made them apartments. Basically, there is a factory here that used to produce something that's very well known in Columbus. Like you can see the sign from the freeway. Like when you talk about this place, people are like, oh my God, I didn't know they made it in, they're like loft apartments. And it's something, like I said, that since they remodeled it, I wanted to live there. Rocco's wanted to live there, but he couldn't really justify like the price tag living by himself. So now that we have like a combined income going into it, we have got it. And like I said, we moved Friday. So there's going to be a lot of packing, hopefully some vlogging if I can swing it, but I'm feeling very awkward on camera. And I know that Rocco will probably also feel very awkward on camera, but we're going to try and do it because I want to kind of document it. But I'm so excited. It has concrete floors. It has like the stone walls like you have here, like the brick walls. It has like the exposed, you know, ductwork in the ceiling. The bedroom and the living room have floor to ceiling, like old windows. Like I'm just so excited. The only thing I'm not excited about is that two things. One, my office only has a skylight, so the ceiling, the roof or whatever is the light. I don't know how that's going to go for filming, so you'll have to kind of bear with me. Also because I got a new camera, so I don't necessarily know like what that's going to look like. And then the other thing is our windows don't open because they are old factory windows. So they have like, I mean, you'll see them later in videos, but there's no way to like actually open these windows. And I'm really excited about that for the aesthetics, but not excited for like, what if my apartment catches on fire? Like, oh, where are we gonna go? So a little bit anxious about that, but it has a really beautiful courtyard. It's in what is called Italian Village where we live. So it's very near to German Village and the Book Loft, and it's very near to the Short North and places that we already really enjoy going to. And COVID is kind of definitely less than it used to be now. Columbus has an initiative where a lot of the downtown restaurants have like tons of outdoor seating. They've added on extra seating. They're really accommodating the restaurants like the city of Columbus is, because Columbus is really built up around our food. If you've ever been to Columbus, you know this is like a hot spot for food. Been eating great food over the last couple of months. Just, I mean, not that we don't always eat very well, but it's been nice. And you know, summer's here and I'm hoping that'll kind of alleviate a little bit of my seasonal depression and will kind of help my OCD, because it's weird because it's partially about distracting yourself. So, you know, you might be having a really bad day and the only way to get yourself out of a spiral is to like focus on something else. So that's kind of what I have been doing recently. So I'm really excited to be able to go out and do things and, you know, sort of travel and stay in like Airbnbs like we were, and, you know, to go hiking this summer. And, you know, I've made some new friends over the last couple of months. So like we've been going out with them to a couple of local bars, and it's just been nice to be able to sort of get out while still being safe. But yeah, my mom's getting the COVID vaccine. Rocco's parents have gotten the COVID vaccine. So it's nice to be able to like think about the future and think about like things kind of lessening a little bit. So that's really all I had for this video, I guess. I didn't want to just like pop on here and be like, hey, this is what, well, welcome back. I'm not going to talk about anything. I really value being transparent. So I do have a couple of videos planned. I've been reading a fuck ton. So I have a lot of like Kindle Unlimited stuff that I've been reading. I've been finishing up a few books that I'd been excited about. I have reviews on those. That's going to be a video as well. When it comes to filming for YouTube, I don't necessarily know what my schedule is going to be. I think my main thing that I want to focus on is like maybe one video a week for now. Maybe more, like one like sit down video and then maybe like a vlog a week. I really don't want to stress myself out, and I don't want to put out so much content that I feel like people aren't going to watch it like I used to. I used to do 3 videos a week. I don't want to do that again. But let me know what's new with you. Like what's new in like the book universe? What's new in your personal life? Like how are you handling things? How are you doing? And if there are any like readathons or, you know, anything like that that I should get in on, because like I said, I've missed so much on so much happens in 2 months on social media. You have no fucking idea. I got on and was like, I don't know half these people. I don't know anything that they're talking about. So if you can help me out, that would be great. But I love you guys, and I'm excited to be back, and I'm excited to film again in my new space, and I need to buy a new tripod because mine broke. But anyway, I love you guys. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video, whenever that is going to be.